Today we're going to solve a quadratic equation which has only imaginary solutions. So the quadratic equation is this one we have here on screen, 3x squared plus 10 equals negative 26. When I see this, I'm going to use the square root to solve this quadratic equation. Let's subtract 10 from both sides. Then 3x squared is equal negative 26 minus 10 would be negative 36. Then, because I'm looking to find x, I will divide by 3 both sides. Three by 3 is going to be cancel 1. So x squared equals negative 36 divided by 3. It is negative 12. Let's find x. Let's do the square root of both sides. Okay. On the right side of this equation, we'll do the plus or minus square root of negative 12. It's plus or minus because we have two solutions. It's a quadratic equation. Here on the left, the square root and the square are cancelled out, so the x will be equal plus or minus square root of negative 1 times 12. I'm writing negative 1 separated by 12 because I know that negative 1 square root of negative 1 is equal I. So then I'm going to replace square root of negative 1 with I. So the x is going to be equal plus or minus I. The square root of 12 I'm going to split into two roots. Square root of 4 times square root of 3 times 3. So which means square root of 4 times square root of 3. So plus or minus I, square root of 4 times square root of 3. Okay, next step, one more time, plus or minus. Square root of 4 is 2, or I, times 2 times square root of 3. Let's rewrite that one more time to make sure that the number 2 comes in the front of I, 2, I square root of 3. So this is like the way that we write I will be between the square root and the number 2. In this case, we have x1 will be 2 plus, let's say plus 2 with a positive, times I square root of 3, and the second solution is x2 equals negative 2I square root of 3. So those are the two solutions of this quadratic equation. Both solutions are imaginary, are not real solutions, which means if I want to make the graph of this function, I'll see where the graph crosses the x-axis. Those are the solutions. But in this case, as a quadratic equation, this function is not going to cross, this graph is not going to cross the x-axis. Let's say if we have a quadratic equation, something like that, that means if the graph crosses the x-axis in 2 points, that means this will be x1 and this will be x2. Those are real solutions. But if we have a quadratic equation and the graph is like that, so the graph doesn't cross the x-axis, in this case we have two imaginary solutions. That's the reason. They're not real. That means they don't cross the x-axis. So those are the zeros. Another way of saying zeros, we say the solutions, we say the roots, we say the points wherever the graph crosses the x-axis. So these all are the names for the solutions. But if the graph doesn't cross the x-axis, that means we don't have real solutions, but we have only imaginary. It could be like that, or it could be like that, or it could be like that, like that. Anyway, in this kind of position, the graph doesn't cross the x-axis, it doesn't have real solutions. It has only two imaginary solutions. One is with plus 2i square root of 3, the other is with negative 2i square root of 3. So if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe.